with us today is Tom Harris of Hardage-Giddens, Oaklawn Chapel and Oaklawn Cemetery to talk about the new mausoleum and why families may want to consider this option for their final resting place. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tom.
Well, thank you, Jordan. Thank you for having me.
Of course, great to meet you. So why do families choose a mausoleum over other options?
That's a great question. So mausoleums have been around for thousands of years. The pyramid is a mausoleum, of course, Taj Mahal. So it's not a new concept. And a lot of families just don't want a traditional in-ground burial.
Okay.
So the mausoleum is an above-ground option that families can take advantage of. And we have a brand new building at Oaklawn Cemetery that we're putting up. It should be completed by the end of the year, which would be just a fabulous option for our local families.
Right, and so what are some other options though for final resting places other than mausoleums?
Right, so there's a lot of different options at Oaklawn. So Oaklawn opened in 1927.
Wow, I didn't realize
almost
that.
100, yes, coming up on our 100-year-old anniversary.
Wow.
And there's everything from family estates, for instance. So we have hedged off areas that have beautiful monuments and a matching bench. So all, of course, in granite that can be for 2 people, 4 people, you name it, really. And then that gives families the option of keeping multiple family members together.
Right.
The other options are cremation. So cremation, of course, is growing in our community. And a lot of people don't think about what do I do with the cremated remains or the ashes afterwards. So burial options now have changed so much, and we have complete gardens dedicated to cremations.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and some of the options are quite whimsical, so and they can be serious too. So,
right, of course.
But you can really bring out everyone's individual taste when you're talking about what's available in a cemetery.
Right, right. And talk to us a little bit more about the pre-planning for the final arrangements, like kind of what goes into that. What should we be thinking about?
Yes, so it's an important part of just any kind of end-of-life planning, right? We do estate planning, we do a lot of different planning in our lives for different things, and this is really no different, and it can be a sensitive topic. The first step really would be, I'd say, come by and take a tour of Oaklawn Cemetery. It's a beautiful park. You can see what options are available, and you can meet with one of our licensed consultants to help you through that. We can give you a personal tour. We give you a little history, and we show you what's available, and we try to make it fun, especially for our families that are planning ahead or pre-need planning.
Right, because like you were saying, this can be a sensitive topic, but it doesn't have to be necessarily all, doom and gloom in a way, because you're kind of giving us like that empowerment, right? Let's plan ahead, because what really is unfortunate is when you don't have a plan and then somebody in your family does die, and now you're not only dealing with the grieving of that person dying, but now the stress of planning that funeral. And that's why I think this is important information to get out ahead of time, because you don't want to have to deal with both, right? I mean, one is going to be so bad, and then to have that on top of it is just, ugh. That's
right. The perfect time to do this is today.
Yeah.
We don't want families to come in unprepared without any kind of a plan at all. The greatest gift you can really give to your loved one is to do some pre-planning, and it eliminates that emotional stress on the day that a death occurs, as well as the emotional burden that can be a part of that. So by coming in, we'll get you a personal planning guide. It has questions that will cover a lot of questions that people have, and you'll be able to record these things and keep them in one place, as well as sitting down with one of our consultants and help put together a personalized plan just for you.
Well, thank you again, Tom, for talking with us about that today, because I know it is very important. It is a very touchy subject, but it is important that we know what our options are.
Absolutely.
So thanks again.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And if you'd like to see this interview again, everyone, just head to First Coast News Plus.